Hey guys, welcome back to another plan with me. This week I'm planning from June 9th to the 15th, and I'm using this Cinderella paper kit called Summer City. And the reason I chose this kit was because I did in fact go to New York City this week, and so I just thought this fit really well, even though it looks a little bit more like a springtime kit to me, which almost sort of works even better for this week because I feel like this is the week that's sort of in between spring and summer, because doesn't summer technically start on June 20th? Not that that really matters because it did get up to the 90s this week, so whatever. But anyway, I don't purchase from this shop very often, maybe one other time, but I just really wanted this artwork because I just really like it when my kit matches what I did that week, so I had to do it. Now, that being said, I will say I'm not completely happy with this spread for a couple reasons. A big one is my own fault. My handwriting is just really bad, especially with the 0.5 pen that I need to use on my printable kits. The 0.38 gets clogged on whatever dusty bullshit is on the stickers. I don't know. If you know how to fix that, let me know. I even looked it up on Reddit, and some other people were talking about the residue that's left on their stickers after they get cut in the silhouette. So I don't know. It didn't happen with the first printer paper. I've mentioned this before, I think. The first printer paper I ever purchased for stickers, I didn't have this problem with, and I can't find that paper anymore, and I can't even find it in my Amazon purchases. So anyway, we're kind of stuck with this. But just, I've noticed, and this is kind of sad, but as I'm getting older, it really hurts my hand to write small, and I don't like big writing. I like teeny tiny writing, and yeah, it's just getting harder for me. I really hope that I don't end up with arthritis in my hands as I get older, because everything I like to do involves teeny tiny hand movements. So anyway, that's for another time. Back to this. So I wasn't happy with my handwriting. And then also a couple things about this kit I don't love, and I probably shouldn't have purchased it, but again, the artwork was just too perfect. But one thing is it didn't have any deco for the top, and I didn't like the date covers, so I opted to use nothing at first. You will see, also sorry about my nails. I was gonna do them, but clearly I didn't. Anyway, you'll see in the end that the way I use up the space is I just shove another glitter header up there. But originally I was just gonna leave it blank. It just looked really lopsided, uneven, unbalanced, whatever. So I just decided to put something up there. But yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. And then the other thing is these labels are not saturated enough for me. I really like it when the inside of all of the labels still has a little bit of color. You can see the writing, but these just look way too white to me. It's too much white in the spread. And I prefer the way that Caress Press or Scribble Prints Co., the way they do their labels, it just, I don't know, it pleases my eye a little bit more. So all that to say, I'm not positively thrilled with how this came out, but that's fine. Now, as far as my plans go for this week, not much happened besides me going to New York for my boyfriend's niece's 6th birthday, and just me being stressed out about it. And the reason I was stressed out about it is, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you will know, if you remember, that every year my boyfriend offers to bake and decorate a cake for his niece and nephew's birthdays. And that means that I am decorating a cake, and I really don't like doing things like that for other people, because I'm one of those types of people who would prefer to not try rather than trying and failing, or trying and doing something poorly. You know what I mean? I'm very much I'd rather just never try than try and fail. It makes me sick. I get really anxious, and the last thing I want to do is give somebody an ugly cake and then get pity oohs and ahs, saying oh, it looks so great, even though I know it looks like shit. And I know people do that because I do that. I do that to be nice. When I meet somebody and they tell me they're an artist or whatever, and I want to see their art, 9 times out of 10 it's shitty, and then I have to pretend I think it's gorgeous. So anyway, I don't like doing anything creative for anyone, unless it's how do I explain it? I will make you something without telling you, and then if I fail, I'll just never tell you I even tried. You know what I mean? But then if it comes out good enough, I will give it to you. So yeah, I don't like there to be any expectation. And so I was just really stressed out about this stupid fucking cake that he promised. And he wanted to do a Hello Kitty theme. He wanted me to make a banner, like a physical paper banner. He wanted me to design it and print it and cut it. And he wanted me to use the Hello Kitty font. Now, this ended up being like a whole thing because I really didn't want to do it. I've just been really burnt out lately. I know I'm saying that like every single second, but it's true. I really am. I'm exhausted. I've been exhausted and I don't have the energy for any more bullshit. Like I want time for my hobbies and I'm struggling. So the last thing I wanted to do was waste a few hours making a banner when we could just go to the store and buy like a cake topper. But he really wanted a banner that said like, hello, his niece's name, happy birthday, or whatever. And he wanted it in the Hello Kitty font. Well, I tried making him a banner and it actually came out decent. It wasn't bad. However, it was not the Hello Kitty font because I couldn't find that font for free. I would have had to pay for it or drawn it by hand, which I really didn't have time for. So I found a font that was similar. I added a picture of Hello Kitty to it, whatever. And my roommate thought it was just fine. Like she didn't see anything wrong with it and she couldn't even tell it wasn't the Hello Kitty font because it was close enough. Anyway, my boyfriend noticed it wasn't the Hello Kitty font and he really wanted the Hello Kitty font. So after I spent all that time on this banner, he told me that he was going to ask his friend who owned Photoshop to make him a banner instead. And that just absolutely devastated me. I was fuming because my time is so precious. And the fact that I had spent like 2 hours of my very short evening making this banner and then he didn't even want to use it was such a slap in the face. And it's funny, he didn't even realize I was upset because this was all over the phone. My stomach sank. I was seeing red. I was so upset. And he was like, all right, yeah, well, thanks for trying. And then like hung up the phone. I was devastated. I was furious. I was raging because I am so sick of wasting my time. Anyway, all of that to say, we ended up using the banner that I made, which was a little annoying as well because I didn't end up printing or cutting it because he told me he was going to ask his friend to make him one. Well, come Friday last minute, he's like, hey, can we use your banner? I never asked. And so then last minute I had to print it out and cut it and I was having issues with my printer. So it was kind of a nightmare. But I will say that after all of the stress about the cake, I had a really good time decorating it because I was all alone. That's another big thing. I'm a control freak. I don't do partner work. Either I decorate or you decorate or we don't decorate at all. I will not help you decorate and you will not help me decorate. I would rather die. So I was able to decorate all by myself. I was a little bummed because I missed going out and playing, what's it called? I can't think of the name. Anyway, I missed playing whatever game it is where you throw the ball at the other balls and whoever gets the ball closest to the ball wins. But Joe went to play, which meant that I got to be alone while I decorated the cake, and it turned out decent. So I had a good time. It was my first time using fondant on a cake, and it was cute. It was cute. So that's pretty much all that happened this week. I just freaked out about a fucking cake, had severe anxiety, and then went to New York City. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. So let's get into the day by day, starting with Monday. The first thing I marked was that it was really gross outside, and even though I work remote on Mondays, I did have to drive home from my boyfriend's place, so I had to brave the elements for a little bit, and I used a Rabbit Hole Handcraft sticker for that. Then with this Papershire remote work sticker, I marked that I worked from home. On my break, fortunately, it did stop raining. I walked to Aldi to get groceries, and I used this Aldi sticker from Stick with the Plan Co. With the Fox and Cactus squish, I marked that I walked 10,000 steps while watching, and just like that. And may I just say, I have thoroughly been enjoying hate watching, and just like that. In my head, I compartmentalize, like, Sex and the City takes place in one universe, and then And Just Like That is an alternate universe with caricatures of the original characters, and they have nothing to do with each other because, oh my God, that job is bad. The writing's bad. The outfits are horrendous, but it's really fun to watch. Anyway, after that, I marked with this Papershire sticker that I saw these teeny tiny microscopic bugs around my shower. I don't even know how to explain it. We don't have a shower curtain. We have a sliding door. And these bugs were so small. They're the smallest bugs I've ever seen. I didn't even realize that there was anything there until I saw them scurry, like tiny little pieces of dust scurrying. And like, I guess they can see light at least, because when I reached into the shower to turn the water on, my shadow scared them, I guess, and they all ran under the track for the sliding door where I could not get to them. Don't worry, I did eventually spray for them, but at this moment I was kind of in shock, and I was like, what the fuck are these? I've never seen anything like this. And honestly, I just like let it go, and I was like, I'll deal with this later, and I showered. Kind of gross, but again, I've been tired. Then with this Prairie Planner book, I marked that I finished The Last Widow, which is one of the books in the Will Trent series, which is one of my all-time favorite series by Karen Slaughter, who's one of my favorite authors. I didn't love this one, I'm not going to lie. It was about a cult, and I do enjoy cult stories, but that's not what I want from Karen Slaughter. I want like serial killers, rapists, pedophiles, like that kind of thing. And there was a little bit of that in this book, so it did redeem itself, but I just didn't love it. I don't really care that much about terrorist groups. That was the thing about it. It was like a terrorist group in a cult. And I'm just not into terrorist group stories. It's just not my thing. So I think maybe I gave it 4 stars because the writing was good, but I might have only rated it 3. I think it was my least favorite book in the series thus far. Then with this Lottie from Stick with the Plan Co., I marked that I had insomnia and I had nightmares. I just couldn't sleep. With this, I just realized that that's sort of like an oxymoron. No, I had insomnia, and then when I finally fell asleep, I had nightmares and woke up again. So it was both. I just realized that made no sense. But anyway, you get it. Moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked with an umbrella was that it was misting outside, which was really annoying because, you know, when like the mist is so light that an umbrella really doesn't do much because the wind just whisks the moisture under your umbrella and all over you, and you're covered in like a thin layer of wet, and it's just gross. Yeah, that's how it was. Then with this, I think, Simply a Mess sticker, I marked that my boss was back from her vacation. With this yay emoji head, I marked that my half day was approved, and I was just a little anxious about it because I had requested it 2 weeks in advance, but my boss was away, and it was for this Friday. I needed a half day. So I was a little nervous that she was going to think that I didn't give enough notice, but like I technically did. She just wasn't here. But she approved it. Wasn't a big deal. Then with this leftover icon from a kit, I think Crust Press, I marked that I paid my rent. With this leftover YouTube icon from who knows where, I marked that I posted a video. With this Munchkin drawing on a tablet, I marked that I spent forever on that banner. With this Papershire TV, I marked that I started the movie Primal Fear and did some laundry. Then with this FaceTime Munchkin, I marked that Joe called. With another one of these girls, I marked that I was furious. With this icon left over from somewhere, I marked that I started The Silent Wife, which is the book that comes after The Last Widow, and I loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. Loved it. It was just all of the pervy, creepy, nasty, gross stuff that makes your skin crawl. I really enjoyed it. And moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked was that I was positively boiling in the sun, and I used a sweating emoji for that. With this Papershire clock that I believe is a freebie, I marked that I went into the office at 8:40 because I had a bunch of overtime that I no longer needed since my half day was approved. And I prefer leaving early, but sometimes I can't. So the only way to like make up that time is to go in late, and it makes me a little bit flustered because even though I know I'm allowed to go in late, I still want to be there on time. I don't know, it's stupid. It's so stupid. Anyway, moving on. With this Fox and Cactus Girl, I marked that I overheard some work gossip when I got in this morning about a coworker who, spoiler, she is no longer with the company, but at this time she still was. Then with this computer trouble sticker, I used it to mark that this was just the longest day ever. It would not end. I was going crazy. I wanted to like bash my head against a wall. Then with this like happy lovey-dovey Munchkin, I marked that Joe did redeem himself. I didn't ask him to, but while I was at work, he went over to my apartment and he replaced the wiper on my car because I had one that like the rubber came off and it was like flapping in the wind. And he also fixed my dryer, which has been an issue. The hose that connects to the back has been broken. And so every time we dry clothing, the entire apartment turns into a sauna. It just gets so humid because all of the moisture is no longer going through that hose. It's just going into the air. So he fixed it for me. So I couldn't really be mad at him anymore because those two things were really bothering me. And yeah, he fixed it. Then with this Happy Munchkin, I marked that my boss was going to be gone until September. She was really only in for 2 days, and then she was going to her second home for the summer. Then with this shipped emoji, I marked that I got Happy Mail, which I spelled HABPY by accident, but that's fine. With this icon left over from a kit, I marked that I finished Primal Fear and realized I had definitely seen that ending before and possibly the entire movie. With this Fox and Cactus weight, I marked that I did a back workout. With this Sticky Perks nail polish sticker, I marked that I did my nails. Then with this reading emoji, I marked that I read, and that was it for Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked with another one of these girls was that I thought I was late for work, but I ended up getting there in time, so I don't know why I was worried. With this don't want to be here mug, I marked that I just really didn't want to be in office this day. With this anxious Lottie, I marked that I was so anxious I felt like I was going to throw up. With this Paper Shire freebie, I marked that I read. Then with another sweaty emoji, I marked that it was 92 degrees on my walk home from work. With this emo squish, I marked that I was feeling depressed. I was kind of sad that I was missing out on, why can't I think of the name? It's not foosball, it's not skee ball, bocce ball. Jesus Christ. I was a little sad that I was missing out on bocce ball to decorate this cake. And Joe said that we could go and then decorate it after, but I knew that if we did that, I would be awake until like 3 a.m. and I've just been exhausted. How many times can I say that? So I didn't go. I stayed to decorate the cake alone, and I'm glad that I made that decision because it was just the right choice for me. So after that, I decorated the cake and I used this emoji to mark that. Then with this emoji playing on a Switch, I marked that Joe came over to pick up the cake and we played Zelda for a little bit together, and that was it. Then moving on to Friday, the first thing I marked with this Jason from Once More with Love that it was Friday the 13th. With this headache Lottie, I marked that I had a migraine. With this work sticker, I marked that I worked from home. With this emoji next to a suitcase, I marked that I packed for the trip. Then with this Prairie Planner sticker, I marked that I had to go to my hair appointment, and this is why I needed a half day, because immediately after my hair appointment, we were leaving for New York. Then with this angry rush hour emoji, I marked that we almost got hit, and I'm not exaggerating. We actually thought Joe's car had been hit. It wasn't, luckily, but that's how close this guy came. He had to slam on the brakes so hard that we couldn't tell if there had been a hit or not, just because the impact of the hitting on the brake. You get what I'm saying. But the guy in this truck just swerved all the way into our lane and did not see that we were there. It was pretty scary. And then the guy just drove off, and yeah, we ended up calling the cops. Then with this New York sticker that I actually got from the Paper Shire Patreon, it's now in the shop, so you don't have to do that. But I just got the clip art and I sized it myself. I do wish that the outline was more saturated like the rest of the Paper Shire stickers, but you know, it's good enough. I was just excited to have New York City stickers in general, because that's all I've been wanting for like the last couple years. Not all, but very high on my list is city stickers. So anyway, I used this to mark going to New York City. Then with this Scrabble Prince Co. soccer ball, I marked that we played night soccer and went to the playground with the kids. With this headache emoji, I marked that my migraine was back, and it was really bad. I had to go lie down in bed and just close my eyes, even though I wasn't tired yet. I just needed to lie down. I wasn't doing well. Then moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked with this good news munchkin, I believe, was that it was all of the No Kings protests. With this birthday cake, I marked that it was Joe's niece's birthday. She does have the same birthday as Trump, which is pretty funny. Then with this avocado egg bagel situation sticker, I marked that Joe's brother-in-law made me the best avocado toast I've ever had in my life. in my life. If they sold that at a restaurant, I would buy it. It was so good. Then with another rabbit hole handcraft sticker, I marked that we went to run errands in the rain because I needed to mail a package at UPS. And there was a UPS that was like a 10-minute walk away. So originally I was going to go to that location, but then Joe's sister needed coconut oil or something from Target. So she recommended we go to a different UPS that was near the Target, but it was farther away in general. So we ended up like on a pretty long walk in the pouring rain. It was a long walk for it to be raining, if that makes sense. And we brought his nephew, who's 8, and he was a pretty good sport about it. He was not thrilled to be caught in the rain, but he made the best of it, and we ended up getting him some like drinks and Pop-Tarts or whatever at Target to sort of make up for the torture we just put him through. And then we had to walk all the way back. Then with this Coffee Monsters Co. sticker, I marked that we went out to dinner for the birthday. With this Stick with the Plan Co. sticker, I marked that I heard some really juicy gossip from Joe's brother-in-law's sister, if that makes sense. Really juicy, so that was exciting. Then with another one of these Paper Shire stickers that I printed myself, I marked that we packed up and left. And then the final thing, I marked that we got back home at 2 in the morning, and I just used this leftover icon to mark that. Finally, moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked was that I woke up feeling really sick to my stomach, and I ended up just being like nauseous pretty much all day, like up until dinner. And I used Lottie for that. With a rabbit hole handcraft sticker, I marked that I just rotted on my phone for the majority of the day. I just didn't feel well. With this leftover planner sticker from something, I marked that I did a little bit of functional planning. Then with this pizza emoji, I marked that we went to Pizza Hut. And I know I was sick all day and you got pizza. It agrees with my stomach. I felt fine. Then with this Paper Shire TV, I marked that we watched the movie Juror Number 2. And I will say it's just It's very predictable. It's just And then the final thing on Sunday with this Sunday Scaries emoji was that I just was not ready for Monday. And yeah, that's everything for this week. Please let me know what you think of this spread and what you think about the glitter headers up top. I mean, it is what it is. They're there, but I would still like to know your opinion. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.